I did an experiment on Hinge. I swapped my typical hook for a new one, and that is because a new client in my community, we've just hit 100 members, he proved to me that sex appeal wins every single time. And you know, I seem to be the only dating app coach online right now who's hammering, you know, you've got to tap into sex appeal. What's the two main things I really push and talk about? And they're very easy and applicable for everybody to apply. That's backdrop maxing and sex appeal maxing. Why? Because they're the things that I've found to have the most success with. And guess what? I'm not like a lot of these online dating coaches that have had it easy from the get-go because they can get a picture fucking anywhere and they look good, right? I struggled on dating apps for nearly a decade and now I'm doing well, right? And I put my Instagram and my YouTube a video, right, a short form content video showing the two pictures that when I first used them I finally got great results. And it was a selfie and a mirror selfie tapping into sex appeal, right? Simple as that. Selfie, I'm sweating, mirror selfie, shirtless, right? So I've always had a very good experience testing out thirst traps, and because I've been into bodybuilding, you know, I've always sort of done shirtless selfies, and because I ended up getting a lot of female followers in Magaluf, I had a good metric telling me what was doing well when I was posting it to my stories, right? So, you know, I always backdrop max, because go look on the Instagram Explore page. What pictures do you see going viral and trending? It is all the guys in cool spots, beautiful locations with sick backdrops. And from being on Hinge a lot and looking at what women do and learning from them, most of them are backdrop maxing. If you don't know what that is, go look at my videos of how to get the portrait shot and how to use a tripod, right? But a client joined, right? I've had so many clients join recently, and I've been learning a lot, right? Because a lot of them come to me from these old dating communities, and the dating communities are terrible, just recommending to go get a professional photographer. They just get like the worst staged, up close, blurring out the background photos, and it just fucking looks terrible, right? And they come to me and I say to them, look, I've got a good eye. I can swap whatever you've got right now around. Let's say you've got 100 photos. I could swap around the 6 and you get an instant improvement. One guy signed up and, you know, it was all professional photographers. He's in an old dating community with another one of my clients, right? They're both from the same old dating community. And, you know, I moved them around and even, you know, used the best ones I thought would be best sex appeal and that. And he got no results. Even in London, we use London as a good test to actually see, does your profile perform? Because if it don't perform in London, then we know it's terrible, right? This was a good looking guy, you know what I mean? He had all pro photos, swapped them around to the best pro photos. I called it the best of the bad bunch. You know, he said he got no results, but he sent out 20 likes, got 2 matches. That's okay, to be honest, right? If you learn how to convert that with a decent text game or a decent Instagram, right? But anyway, there was another client, and you know, he travels a lot, he's in Tulum and that. He didn't have pro photos, so to speak, but they're all so close up. And his hook was him naked, not naked, in swim shorts on a sun lounger, cowboy hat. And it just looked a bit, you know, it didn't look great to me. I didn't think it was that attractive. I thought it was a bit camp, you're right? But, you know, I changed it with a manlier one, and he told me his profile was performing way worse. So I was like, right, that just proves, even though it was a picture of him laying down with his cap and it weren't done in a manly way, in my opinion, you know, girls are looking at that going, damn, like, he's lean, he's tanned, he's got a cowboy hat, he looks good. And that just taught me that sex appeal wins time and time again. So I thought, let me try and put this to the test, because my hook, when girls are going past all them shit photos on Hinge, they're going to see my picture in that spa, arms back, smiling ear to ear, looking off, which I don't say smile ear to ear unless you do it in the right way. And it always does well, but you can see I'm pretty dialed in. But I put my most powerful thirst trap on there, which you can see, right? And the reason it's the most powerful is because the lighting is perfect. I'm extremely aesthetic. Go look at my Instagram reel where I show you what I actually look like in this picture. It's one of the smallest I've been in a decade. Like, my physique, it was in the low 70s. I looked like a string bean, but I was so lean that if the lighting was right and I twisted my body right, I look like I've got a Greek god physique, right? And this is why I try to hammer to men. You don't need much size. This was the smallest I've been in a decade, but I was the most aesthetic because I was so lean, right? It's hard for me to have abs. I've got shallow abs, but at this point, they were sometimes showing just if I was breathing fast, you know what I mean? You know, in the right lighting. And when I say breathing fast, I mean like if I'd just done a session, whatever, yeah? Put this on there. Did an intense liking session for about a total of 30 minutes. I was feeling a bit ill, so I was just in bed doing it. And you know, typically when I do 30-minute liking sessions, I do get anywhere from 50 to 80 matches, I would say. Maybe more, maybe less, I can't really remember. But when I put this one on there, bearing in mind I've rinsed the UK, bearing in mind all the girls know about my Hinge videos in the UK and half of them don't want to match with me, right? I get so many messages about it. The matches were just flying in. And what does this teach you? It teaches you women are just like us. They're drawn to sex appeal. Me and you see big tits, big arse, or a girl that's like doing it in the right way. Because I look at Hinge, you don't even need to be a bad girl. You can just learn how to show off your dialed in physique as a woman, right? And it works time and time again. It's the same for women. They love 365, they love 50 Shades of Grey. Short-term attraction or short-term dating, sincerity scores the lowest and attraction scores the highest. And I would argue sex appeal is massively a part of that, right? Massively. And all you're doing, right, is you're just amplifying their attraction towards you. And if you're slightly chopped, I always talk about this, your biggest leverage is sex appeal. Look at all these OF girls, or look at all these girls that are not your cup of tea, but they've just shown off themselves subtly or properly. You still match with them. It's so powerful. And I always say this as well, let's quickly chuck this in there. If you are super chopped, right, I always say if you max out your Hinge using my framework, you're going to be matching with girls on your level or slightly above. Now, if you're chopped, like let's just say you're a 3 out of 10, but you want 9 out of 10s, then yeah, guess what? Dating apps is going to be incredibly tough for you, because I even only really match with girls 2 points above me, you know, pretty consistently, but not like rapidly. Because, you know, 2 points above me, it gets to the point where they're probably barely using them. They're mostly on Instagram looking for like celebrities and stuff, yeah, or footballers, whatever. But what you need to do if you're chopped, right, is you need to actually then, you know, even working on cold approach, getting yourself maxed out confidence. Even if you did 10 years of cold approaching like RSD Tyler, who's chopped, right, you know, you might be able to pull girls on a night out when you push their buttons, but you ain't going to be able to retain them. So you need status. That's the only way to date girls massively out of your league, unless you have extreme confidence, extreme game. You need status. And how do you get status in today's world? Do what I did, 2024 winter going into 2025 winter, or the year 2025. Grew my socials, did a few viral videos, including first traps. Guess what? I had hundreds of DMs from women all around the world saying, come to my country, I'm ready. Yeah, get a following. You know, I always talk about this. I used to watch all these Twitch gamer guys years ago before it was popular, right? That would stream. They're a bit emo-y. And just because they were a big fish in a small pond in their little Twitch streamer world, they had like loads of pretty decent gamer girls after them, right? Big fish, small pond status. So if you're watching this and you're chopped, that is the best thing you can do. And guess what? Hinge maxing, which is what my coaching is, and IG maxing is the same framework for building mini status. And eventually, if you start making proper content, you know, even bigger status, right? But all this to say, guys, you know what I mean? All this time, you know, I grew my socials talking about an attractive physique, and now I'm showing how powerful an attractive physique is. It's night and day, even for me. You've got to tap in. Women are bored at home, rotting in bed, vaping. They want a Giga Chad who's ripped, who's aesthetic, who knows how to take photos, to pop up on their screen. They go, oh my God. Because guess what? You're struggling on Hinge. The guys in my community that I'm telling them it's 95% photos that are still trying to work on their text game, they should be working on the photos. Because guess what? I can make 1,000 mistakes and you can only make one. That's the power of tapping into sex appeal. That's the reality of it. The more primal raw desire there, the more rules broken. So you have to be 10 to 12% body fat, and you have to know how to take good photos to make women look at the phone and go, Jesus Christ, that is hot. It's as simple as that, guys. So got the pictures up, got the matches there. That's 30 minutes liking. No matter where I put it now, I'm putting it in different areas in Europe to test out locations for my clients in my community that believe their area is bad. Time and time again, I got loads of Germans in there. They're saying Germany's messed up. No, I'm in Dortmund now cleaning up. There's a guy in Frankfurt who DM'd me yesterday on my Instagram saying I follow your framework and I get nothing but tons of results. Thank you. It works. Don't listen to all these other dating app coaches that, do you know how many guys join my community and DM me like, oh, one guy yesterday said to me, Melbourne is terrible, there's no hot girls there. And I've got an optimized profile from Austin Dunham. No offense, I love Austin Dunham, but his framework is terrible. How can you say Melbourne has no hot girls? Melbourne's the best city I've ever put my location other than London. London's the best for traffic. I'd say Australia for quality is the best where I've ever put it. And Melbourne and Sydney were the best. And I was matching like hundreds and hundreds of high quality, right? Like, These pro photo shoot stage photos are killing your results. iPhone, tripod, backdrops, first traps with mirror selfies, getting out of pools, sunny destinations, action shots, cool lifestyle shots out and about. It's as simple as that. You don't even need to spend £1,000 on a photographer. You don't even need to be up close and personal. You know what I mean? You need one face cuff shot, loads of sex appeal, loads of beautiful destinations. And you don't need to tailor your messages to their profile. Copy and pasta, screening for high interest. This is how easy Hinge is. And all you've got to do, instead of sitting there racking your brain like, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting that? What do I say to her? Better photos. Hammer that into your head. Better photos. Aesthetic, optically pleasing, sex appeal. Only focus on that. Stop focusing on, what do I say here? Yeah, stop making the mistakes. Good thing about me, every lad in my community, I can break down their text game mistakes in minutes, right? To come up with good replies, it even takes me ages because I'm slow. I've got a sleep condition, right? And I only learned good text game back, it took me years. My mate taught me and I got pretty good in 2024. And even with my current girl, like my girlfriend, right? The girl I'm currently going out with, I had to, it would take me a while. I'd sit there for some time. I was busy working, but I'd probably be there for like 10, 20 minutes, brainstorming what I'm going to send to her, making sure it's not weird, making sure it's not shit, making sure it's going to make her smile through the phone. Most men don't give it time. They just send him random weird shit and they constantly say in my community, damn, I probably should have thought about that a bit more before I sent that, yeah? So, but listen, Maggie's coffee's like rocket fuel, lads. Let this be a lesson to you. All these other dating app coaches that are telling you, get the pro photos, you're going to attract high value women. Listen, all these high value women you think you're attracting are licking the screen, looking at me, willing to meet me in a heartbeat. Simple as that.